Hey there, you're listening to Equity Master's Stock Market Wrap-Up. A very warm welcome to all of you. This is Rini. After a festive and holiday truncated week, the Wall Street was back on its regular routine. Macroeconomic indicators such as inflation, factory output, as well as global crude oil prices dictated the stock market trend this week. So let's begin with an overview of what I will cover in this week's edition. Top stocks and second quarter results, global stocks amid Brexit concerns, rupee's recovery and India's inflation data, widening of trade deficit and other macroeconomic cues. First, let's have a quick look at broader cues. Asian stock markets rounded out the week in mixed fashion as investors gauged whether China and the US can resolve their trade spat before the G20 meeting later this month. The pound steadied after Thursday's plunge as Brexit again threw the UK government into turmoil. Further, US yields have fallen to two-week lows owing to Britain's draft agreement to exit the European Union. Oil prices continued to fall this week on the back of worries about weakening global demand and oversupply. Back home, the rupee continued its recovery momentum throughout this week. The rupee rose by 34 paise to close at a 2-month high of 71.97 against the US dollar on Thursday. On Friday, the domestic currency hit the 71 mark against the dollar in intraday trade. Now, in the macroeconomic developments this week, India's retail inflation rate dropped sharply in October as vegetable to sugar and pulses, prices of key food items in India continued to run well below last year. The inflation rate dropped to 3.3% in October on a year-on-year basis, the slowest pace in 13 months, and remains below the RBI medium-term target of 4% for a third straight month. Inflation based on wholesale prices rose to a 4-month high of 5.3% in October, mainly due to spike in petrol and diesel prices, even as food prices softened. The WPI inflation stood at 5.1% in September and 3.7% in October last year. Meanwhile, India's industrial production grew 4.5% in September compared with the upward revised 4.7% in August. Moving on, India's exports rose sharply in October as a weaker rupee provided a competitive edge, but equally strong growth in imports widened the trade deficit. Exports grew 17.9% while imports climbed 17.6%. Moving on to stock-specific activities this week, Tata Motors shares were in focus as the company's global wholesales in October 2018, including Jaguar Land Rover, were higher by 6% as compared to October 2017. Yes Bank was also in focus after Ashok Chawla stepped down as the bank's non-executive chairman. Reportedly, Chawla resigned as he felt that the bank would need a chairman who could devote more time and attention while Chief Executive Rana Kapoor is on his way out. Bank of India, Tata Steel, Sun Pharma, Apollo Tyres were among the dozens of companies that announced their quarterly results this week. Corporate earnings have been on a slow path to recovery, but the market is not in a forgiving mood. Any company, even a good one, missing its earnings estimates is being taken to the cleaners. The market may be nervous and impatient, but our safe stock expert Tanushree Banerjee believes the slow earnings turnaround is good. It creates many buying opportunities in safe stocks. As Tanushree says, and I quote, "A slow turnaround will force companies to rethink their capital allocation plans. They will direct their incremental profits to most productive use and in the process maximize shareholder wealth over the long term. So do not be in a hurry to buy stocks that have performed brilliantly in latest quarter's earnings, nor dump the ones that have underperformed. Rather, review their performance in the context of what they have done over several years. This will not just help you evade the pitfalls of herd mentality, but possibly allow you to be the investor of the next decade." Unquote. So guys, stick to the best safe stocks in the market. Tanushree has a long and illustrious track record of picking safe stocks. Now you can receive safe stock recommendations too. Just log on to stockselectoffer.com to grab the opportunity today. Well, that's all from us today. Now, before I sign off, we would like to know whether you like our podcast. Is there anything specific that you would want us to cover? We would love your feedback. Just visit equitymaster.com and drop us a line. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you and happy investing.